خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون.
Inshallah, in this video we are going to explore and talk about another remarkable creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the honeybees. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the bees in the Holy Qur'an, Surah 16, Surah An-Nahl, Ayah 68. The translations is, "And your Lord inspired the bee, set up hives in the mountains and in the trees and in what they construct."
وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون ثم كلي من كل الثمرات فاسلكي سبل ربك ذللا يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون.
As we know, up till now, only 8 surviving species of honeybees are recognized, with a total of 43 subspecies, though historically 7 to 11 species are recognized. Honeybees represent only a small fractions of the roughly 20,000 known species of bees. Now, honeybees obtain all of their nutritional requirement from a diverse combinations of pollen and nectar. Pollen is the only natural protein source for honeybees. Adult workers honeybees consumes 3.4 to 4.3 milligrams of pollen per day to meet a dry matter requirements of 66 to 74% of protein. The rearing of one larva requires 187.5 milligram pollen or 37.5 milligram protein for proper development. Dietaries are broken down into amino acids, 10 of which are considered essentials to honeybees. Honey is the complex substance made when bees ingest nectar, process it, and store the substance into honeycombs. Worker bees of a certain age secretes beeswax from a series of exocrine glands on their abdomen. They use the wax to form the walls and caps of the combs. As with honey, beeswax is gathered by humans for various purposes such as candle making, waterproofing, soaps, cosmetic, manufacturing, pharmaceutical, art, furniture, polish, and more. Honeybees have 3 castes: the drones, the workers, and the queens. Drones are male, while workers and queens are female. Now, the drones are typically haploids, having only one set of chromosomes and primarily exist for the purpose of reproductions. They are produced by the queen if she chooses not to fertilize an egg or by unfertilized laying workers. Now, the workers have two sets of chromosomes. They are produced from an egg that the queen has selectively fertilized. Workers typically develop in 21 days. A typical colony may contain as many as 60,000 workers bees. Workers exhibit a wider range of behavior than either queen or drones. Their duties changes with age, like cleaning, feed brood, receive nectar, clean hive, guard duty, and foraging. Some workers engages in other specialized behaviors such as undertaking, removing corpse of their nestmates from inside the hive. Worker honeybees perform different behavioral tasks that cause them to be exposed to different local environment. The gut microbial compositions of the workers varies according to the landscape and plant species they forage, such as differences in seeds crops, and with different hive tasks such as nursing or food processing. Finally, the queens. Queen honeybees are created when worker bees feed a single female larvae an exclusive diet of a food called royal jelly. Queens may lay up to 2,000 eggs per day. They produce a variety of pheromones that regulates behaviors of workers and helps swarms to track the queen's locations during swarming. Now the winter survival of the bees is remarkable. In cold climates, a honeybee stops flying when the temperature drops below about 10 degrees C and crowd into the central area of the hive to form a winter cluster. The worker bees huddle around the queen's bee at the center of the cluster, shivering to keep the center between 27 degrees C at the start of the winter. Once the queen resumes laying, the worker bees rotates through the cluster from the outside to the inside so that no bee gets too cold. The outside edges of the cluster stays at about 8 or 9 degrees C. The colder the weather is outside, the more compact the cluster becomes. During winter, they consume their stored honey to produce body heat. The amount of honey consumed during the winter is a function of winter length and severity, but ranges in temperate climates from 15 to 50 kilograms. Certain bees, including the western honeybee as well as the Apis cerana, are known to engage in effective methods of nest thermoregulations during periods of varying temperatures in both summer and winter. During the summer, however, this is achieved through fanning and water evaporations from water collected in various fields. After learning fractions of work which these remarkable creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala construct, build, make honey is mind-boggling. Imagine for a second who taught these bees to make hexagonal architecture, and the bees been doing it for thousands of years. Think of a hexagon. It is the most appropriate geometric form for the maximum use of a given area. None of the other shapes fits together perfectly to provide more usable area. The cells of a beehive honeycombs are hexagonal. The question arises how the bees knew it for thousands of years. Who taught these bees the complex architecture and how to produce so precisely? The bees incredibly create this honeycomb hexagon shape super identical. Now we are using this geometrical shape in many form and shape. Hexagons is so widely used in number of structure in our time, and they are super strong and occupy less volume. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said about the bees making their hive in mountain.
وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون ثم كلي من كل الثمرات فاسلكي سبل ربك ذللا يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون والله خلقكم ثم يتوفاكم ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل العمر لكي لا يعلم بعد علم شيئا إن الله عليم قدير.
ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين ومن كل شيء